to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Show here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku, he had just taken on 5 more quirks. So, adding that all together, you have Firebending, Regeneration, Adrenaline, the quirk deactivation, Clairvoyance, Super Strength, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 with his current quirk. Now, actually I do believe 12 considering that he does have that buggy super intelligence. Now, the reason why it was a buggy one was because no quirks are going to be perfect on the first try. They have to be mixed with better ones to get an improved version, other than the ones that are currently already in existence. Now, let us continue. Deku has just taken on 5 other quirks, and he is going to wake up soon. However, All For One is trying to think. His son, he's a bit more lighthearted for this life, so he's done well enough nurturing. He believes that it is time for his son to properly toughen up if he is going to live his life as a villain. Especially now since he has just had his first murder at a very young age. So, I do believe that the next time he wakes up, his entire world will shift, and he will truly understand that this life is different. But school. I do believe that that will work. Now, All For One is currently thinking about how things will work for Deku. The amount of training he wants to put him through might be a bit odd at first, but eventually it would make sense. Along with that, it seems like this would be a bad time. But since Deku currently has that new regeneration quirk, this is actually going to be a lot easier. So Deku won't have to make up excuses or wear bandages, in case he ever gets injured. Now, with that being said, let's continue. Deku, he is waking up, and he is very thirsty. Looking to the side of his bed to see the note, as he does sip on some water. As it basically reads that he should be careful with his quirk intake, because he's gone over his physical limit. He knows that his body still probably feels like hell, but that regeneration and the adrenaline is probably going to numb him a little bit. So, that is just it. You need to come to this room now for proper training. Your training is going to change also. I'm going to be helping you now. Deku actually reading that last part. So he's going to get in an hour or two of training before school. Okay. So, Deku would leave, heading downstairs and seeing that his dad is just waiting there. Him actually just sitting down. As Deku feels a bit odd. Walking in and his spider sense going off. Immediately turning around to see Tomura, bringing his hand up and Deku basically just jumping backwards, throwing out fire directly at him. Tomura immediately just jumping back. Deku flying backwards down the staircase, hitting each stair on the way down, eventually having to get back up. A bit confused and actually yelling as to why Tomura just attacked him. All For One saying that that was not Tomura, young man. Him a bit confused, as Tomura would somewhat just fade away. This clone of him. Now, With that being said, he would just get back up, asking his dad exactly what is going on. All for one explaining that from today on, your training is going to be different, along with your quirks. I've been allowing you to train on your own for a bit of time, so that you can get a rough understanding of them. But some of the quirks you have now, I have an understanding of. Regeneration, I know full and well. A quirk that has kept me alive. And adrenaline, something to numb your body. I do not have a quirk like that yet, but I believe I shall look around for another. Your nullification quirk, or deactivator. I have an activator. Clairvoyance. Tell me, what do you see right now, Midoriya? Deku a bit confused, staring at his dad, as he tries to focus his eyes. At least trying to focus on this quirk in particular, until the words somewhat start popping up. His name, Shigaraki, or his first name. Then Shigaraki, exact age, somewhere over 100 years old. Deku's jaw dropping at that fact. Quirk, all for one. Then listing off more and more, along with the clone quirk and other things. Deku somewhat just walking over to a mirror and looking in it and saying exactly what it says about him. It says Izuku Midoriya. Quirk, all for one. Deku's surprised. He does have his dad's quirk. Along with that, he does see the rest of them, counting how many there are. A bit intrigued, but still curious. All for one explaining to Midoriya that that is enough. Now, we are going to be doing some hand-to-hand combats. I believe that you have a super strength quirk. Let's hope it fares up well to mine. As All for One says that, this is whenever Deku would somewhat be taken aback. His spider sense going off. Him immediately leaping off of his leg, trying to avoid his dad's punch. Deku confused, but this is when All for One was just explaining that sitting on the sidelines with a quirk as powerful as ours, that is not an option. You must take it in your own hands. As he just begins to throw around some light punches. Deku, at least, being able to outmaneuver him. He's not really sure what to do. He dodges to the left, dodges to the right, and he does feel his adrenaline increasing. The quirk is actually helping him increase and speed up a bit. Deku actually doing one thing. Bringing his hand up and blasting fire at his dad. As All for One have actually been a bit amped up and excited for this. So, he's done playing the little pacifist route, isn't he? Deku beginning to blast at him. All for One getting a bit more serious, delivering a gut shot to Deku. One really solid one, and then knock him across the face. Deku somewhat getting sent flying. He does actually fly across the room, but he does only hit the ground. All for One actually asking Midoriya if he is okay. Midoriya getting back up and somewhat wiping his face, there being a little bit of blood. Deku saying that he should be fine, as the wound would heal. All for One just saying that that is good. Now, they will be doing this type of training for the last hour and a half. Then you will go take a shower and head to school. Do you understand? Deku a bit more yikes, as the two would be training in the basement. All for One and Deku basically going back and forth, with Deku at least trying to mimic his fighting style. The way his feet are, the way his hands are up, and just him throwing just jabs. 2 left hooks, then going for a right swing, and going for an uppercut with his left arm. Somewhat like a combo. So, Deku would have at least used his super strength to smash into his dad's chest. Hisashi actually being a bit more surprised. The quirk was a bit stronger than he thought. Then again, the hero was able to lift a bridge, so he really should have not underestimated it. Him actually jumping backwards, as he actually does wipe away a bit of blood from his face. That was just from him biting his lip, but he does want Midoriya to at least get a little bit of a confidence boost. Let's see what happens now. Midoriya actually somewhat smirking, having a look of confidence come across his face as he does at least run forwards, blasting fire and hardening his body. All for one a bit surprised. Deku is using his hardening quirk at its fullest, at full steel, coming running in as he does try and sock off one across the face. All for one bringing his hand up and immediately grabbing it. He's somewhat struggling against it, but at least being able to bend his arm downwards and smash his son into the ground. Deku being taught properly how to do things. After getting Deku off the ground and him healing a bit more, all for one would have just stood side by side with Deku, showing him the proper way to stand, the proper way to throw a couple punches and do a couple jabs, along with actually how to throw a kick. Because if you're going to be doing stuff like this, you need to not only be good in this, but possibly even become proficient in firearms, in case you do have a quirk that requires one. Somewhat handing over a gun to Midoriya, him being a bit confused. All for one just telling him that this right now is just, well, it's not loaded. Just try and get a good feel with it in your hand. It's a bit smaller, yes, but it should still be fine. Deku at least messing around with it a little, before he realizes that he's late. He almost pockets the gun, but all for one would have just grabbed it from him. And he would have ran out the door, hauling ass to his school. Now, he would have been a bit more, well, faster today, since he is using a super strength quirk in his legs. A lot of people somewhat catching on to this, noticing that he's actually very fast for, well, someone with a telekinesis quirk. So he's probably just making part of his body weight float. Whatever. There's other ways to train your quirk. Now, with that being said, back at Midoriya's school, things are a bit odd. He sits down today and finds that, well, the club he's in with his target, Sayako, has somewhat been shut down by the, well, upperclassmen in his school, because they thought it was just an annoying place for people to drink tea and try and think that they're better for other people. Now, with that, Deku, he would have actually been a bit annoyed. Without that club there, he can't really get close to his targets. Along with that, he would have actually explained to some of the other club members that he can probably figure it out. It's not really that big of a deal. Them somewhat just yelling at Deku that it really is. They can't just have their club meetings anywhere else. Deku a bit annoyed, as he would begin to make his way over to where these upperclassmen are. Let's see, Deku is 7 years old. So let's say that they are roughly around 12. Because I believe that is how the not schooling system, but I believe that that's the younger age before you go into junior high, where you're 13 and 14, then you go into high school. So that actually does work properly. Now, with that being said, they would be talking and they would see Deku. One of them basically just saying that is that runt from the club. So, they sent him to deal with us, them all staring at him. Before someone actually does bring up that they heard that he had a quirk. So you gotta watch out. Not really much of a quirk, or that this weakling has telekinesis. Not just that, apparently it's 4th generation. Deku confused. How do they know about that? He doesn't have his quirk listed as 4th generation. One of the guys just looking at Deku, somewhat smirking as they say that they were right. Huh, can't believe it. Deku confused as to what this guy is talking about. The guy just saying that it was a lucky guess. Let's leave it at that. Deku just, thinking. A lucky quirk, right? Him focusing his eyes and looking at this. Jackass number 1, quirk, lucky. Jackass number 2, quirk, none. Jackass number 3, quirk. Something stupid probably, like bendy fingers or not bendy fingers, eyeballs sticking out of his head, or just a longer nose or bigger ears. Now, Deku would just look at these guys and begin to list off their names. Them confused. The guy who called Deku's telekinesis 4th generation would immediately be picked up, Deku levitating them off the ground, telling them that it wasn't really nice what they did. All club activities are supposed to be maintained on campus, and you shut down our club. So, exactly what do you have to say for yourself? The men's somewhat confused, thinking that Deku's a bit, weird, and 4th generation telekinesis isn't supposed to be able to do this type of stuff. It's supposed to be weak. Now, they would just be talking and actually saying that they'll just restore the club, just to let them down. Now, with that being said, this is whenever Deku would just do so. As soon as he lets them down, one of them would have ran over to Deku, trying to throw a punch at him. Him just dodging to his left as he does take a couple steps backwards. The guy just throwing out haymakers. Left, right, up, down, any way direction you can think of. Deku just taking a step backwards and dodging all of them. Until he does get over to the staircase, where the guy does throw a left hook and Deku just dodges to his right, and pushes the guy down. The guy going tumbling. The other ones are a bit confused. What exactly is this kid? As there is someone watching, and just thinking that that is not good. As someone would come running past the person. It being Ayama. Him basically joining in, saying that they need to stop. Anyways, just reopen that stupid club. And he won't hurt any more people. Them a bit confused. This kid isn't the one he should be worried about. Wait. Hurt people? He's worried about us? So, that kid has more than one quirk, I know it. Deku just looking at the guy. Before the guy does at least pay attention. Seeing Deku's eyes. Someone turned to black pits for a minute. Before he actually does just blink and freak out for a second. Asking the other guy if he just saw that. The other guy confused. Not really sure what to say. He didn't catch it, so what happened? The guy taking off and bolting, saying that they'll reopen the club. Just give him a minute to get the key. Ayama turning around and telling Midoriya that was very reckless. He could have exposed himself. You need to calm down. Deku just looking at him, saying that he actually was doing okay. As the person who was watching was Sayako. Her a bit confused. He just dodged all that? Even then, those guys were scared of him. She saw the look on that guy's face. Clearly it has something to do with him. Deku somewhat turning and seeing Sayako. Her just walking over and asking him exactly what was that. Him just explaining that his father is teaching him to be a hero. Along with that, I've been training my quirk a lot more. Ever since I was at a young age, I've made sure to always levitate things for a couple hours a day. or at least having an explanation for his strong telekinesis, but still confused on his reflexes. The only other person she's seen with those type of reflexes has gone missing. Or, well, she's heard about them. He can move and dodge anything, but as she was just asked Midoriya, "Are you okay? Do you have a headache or anything?" "No, why? Should I?" Deku just playing it off as a bit dumb, saying that he is actually perfectly fine. He doesn't have a headache, he doesn't have a migraine, and, well, he's okay. The guy at the bottom of the stairs, though, might need to go to the nurse. Him just pointing that out. Now, with that being said, Deku, he would at least be having a bit of fun with this, as they are back in the club room, drinking tea and actually all talking. Deku using his quirk to play the piano once more, as there is a man watching Midoriya, and he's actually a bit more curious. He knows that that boy was using more than one quirk, so exactly what is he gonna do? I can take him to the boss. That works perfectly. The boy might be a weird prodigy, but even then, if I can take that quirk and make it my own, then it will be perfectly fine. Now, the man who's watching this is still waiting and wanting to see exactly what this boy will do. Now, I believe that that is a good part to leave that on, a good note to leave this off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.